So here we are. We're starting our very first episode of the hows and whys, the whys and the hows of homeschooling, because we want to know how you guys around Australia have started. I'm blabbering, aren't I? Let's just get started.
I was laughing at one of the kids walking out.
Oh, okay. Let's just start with you, Joe. Okay. I want to know, I mean, I do know, but I want to hear it again. How did you get into homeschooling?
Well, my eldest sister, your sister too,
That's right.
started homeschooling when I was a school teacher. And I thought it was a little bit crazy. So I was just watching for a couple of years. Then I fell pregnant and had my first child. And at the age 2, we saw that he was going to have some difficulties. And I guess from my experience as a teacher, I knew that the classroom is hard for children who have difficulties. It's hard to get some one-on-one time. And I just thought, you know what? My sister's doing a really great job homeschooling. She's got such a nice community. It's such a nice lifestyle. Maybe it's not such a bad option. So we just started exploring it and we haven't stopped ever since.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I felt similar to you when I saw we had 2 sisters at the time homeschooling, and I was like, why are my sisters so weird sometimes? Why do we have to do things differently to normal people? But I saw the fruit of what they were doing, and I saw their kids really flourishing in their home environment, the way they were just being encouraged in their natural abilities, and even the way they could hold a conversation with adults actually just spoke to me. And over the few years my kids grew up, I kind of thought, I think this is for us. I want to know, Tiff.
Yeah.
I actually don't think I've ever asked you, how did you start?
No, I don't think we've ever talked about it. Yeah, so I worked in early childhood for a few years before I had kids, so ages 3 to 5 here in Australia, and I always used to kind of grieve a little bit when I'd send those kids off to big school. It was just so different because our environment in our centre was very play-based, very much caring for the whole child, relationships with families, and I just really, really loved that. So when I had my son, I could just tell that the school environment wasn't going to be right for him. I knew Joe started homeschooling. I think that just gave me a little bit of hope that it was possible.
Yeah.
And so I just dove right in, and we haven't stopped.
Was there any kind of moments where you thought, what am I doing? Am I doing the right thing by my kid, or am I doing the right thing for me?
Absolutely. The biggest thing I think was that I felt I wasn't trained enough, I guess.
Yeah.
Even though I was trained as an early child teacher, I felt like I would, definitely hinder his education in some way. But I think seeing what Joe was doing and just doing my own research, I just felt like I just have to try, at least try.
And you haven't looked back?
No, I haven't looked back. It's been almost 6 years.
Yeah. I looked back. We bounced around a lot. We've gone from homeschooling to school to homeschooling, and here we are. But I can tell you from personal experience, and I guess sometimes timing is everything, but we know that this is right for us now. We have really and truly tasted both sides of the story at several ages and points in our kids' journeys, and we can see that this makes them thrive. I feel like we are in this for the long haul now. I feel like even our kids would probably agree with me in that this is right for them. But I had the same concerns. I had moments where I was sort of like, am I going to be raising weird kids? Are they going to be these antisocial aliens?
But sometimes it's just hard. And sometimes you want to put them to school. That's really natural, I think.
I think we've all had...
I think I've had several of those moments where I thought school would be a much healthier option.
Googling the local public school.
But I think the more you progress, you realise that there's always an element in life that's hard. Even if you're in school, there'd be hard moments that you'd have to tackle. So I think it takes a bit of time to reconcile that. Any situation, you're going to have hard moments.
Yeah, and I think it's amplified, isn't it? Because you're there doing the hard work. You're not just dropping them and leaving them.
Yeah, it lands on your head.
Yeah.
So
I think that's one thing I found, because working in preschools, you have a team around you. That was one element that I really loved about what I did, for a career. And then I jumped straight into homeschooling, and it's all on me.
And it can be lonely too.
Yeah, like I had my husband's support, but it did feel really lonely, and it's often a fear that the kids will suffer socially. But often it's the mother who is the one struggling.
Who suffers the most.
because you don't get that immediate community. It does take work. And I think that's definitely the heart behind this, isn't it?
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
Even if it's through a screen, we can provide a little bit of that community for that mum just starting who feels like, she's out of her depth.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, just to let you guys know that there is no right or wrong. You might do things differently, but you are not alone in this journey. We all have different perspectives, even at different points of view on certain matters of education and bringing up our kids. But we're here to encourage you and let you know that those doubts you're feeling, we felt them, we've been there, and we're here to talk about it as well. And also celebrate the joys and celebrate those little victories that we feel, because you feel them a lot when you, especially when you get started and get in your groove. Did you get any pushback? That's a bit of an awkward question.
Thankfully, no, not to
your face.
You know, not to my face. Absolutely.
Comment below if you don't think Tiffany should do it.
I think the one thing I had was just from a well-meaning friend who just felt like perhaps I was doing it for fear reasons.
Yeah.
Perhaps culturally fear that letting your kids go and trusting other people with your kids was perhaps the issue. I had to process that.
We had an experience where Ariel was at the end of kindergarten. I remember being at a stop sign and she said to me, "Mum, what does that say?" She said it in front of, I think at the time, my husband and my mother-in-law, and I just cringed and went, "I'm her teacher. Why does she not know what a stop sign says? Surely we've gotten to this point." And, you know, I had the looks of, should we try school? Is that an option for us? And I think at the time it really did play on my insecurity. And I was like, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe I can't do this. Turns out that was just her learning style. It turns out she was slow to start, and now she's actually one of the top readers in her age group. But those little pushbacks sometimes can play on your insecurities. What about you?
Obviously, we had family support because half our family was doing it at the time. But I got funny pushback from weird places, like at people at church or stuff. They would be like, "I could never do that," and you're like,
I'm not asking you to.
And it's almost like I was insulting them by homeschooling. Or you know, the funniest thing was like the lady at the old shop down the road always questioned.
Why aren't you at school today?
That's interesting. Or the doctors, that when we went to the doctors for a checkup, he's like, "Oh, you don't want to keep them in a bubble." And funny places. I got funny pushback from.
Funny pushback.
I don't think I've ever been called crazy so many times in my life. Like, it's well-meaning, but it's just, it is that. It's like,
I think as well, when you are when someone asks you, why do you homeschool, and you give them your reasons, and their answer is, I could never do that, I think what I've learnt is they're actually playing on their own insecurities of, maybe I'm not doing a good job by my kid, maybe I haven't made the right decision. And you do get that a lot when you've made a decision to just draw a line in the sand. It doesn't matter whether it's right or wrong for that other person. That person might be feeling judged, which is hilarious because,
I think that's motherhood, isn't it?
It's motherhood,
I think we're our own worst enemy often. If we're insecure, I'm sure we've done it to other people as well. It's just one of those things. And I think that's why, if you've just started, that's definitely a journey you have to walk through, is just gaining confidence. And I think, we're all a few years in, like, even though you've been in and out, Kate, you have gained experience as a mother, as a woman. You know your kids better, you know them really well. It's definitely a conviction that this is the lifestyle you want for you and your family. Just don't give up and